she's gonna be murdered in a car. And nobody done nothing to protect her, because they know they planning to do what they have done to my son.
Princess Diana's life was not as perfect as it seemed. Behind the fancy dresses and big smiles, she was hiding a painful truth. Before she passed away, she shared shocking things about King Charles, things that many people never knew. She spoke about feeling trapped, lonely, and even scared. She revealed secrets about their marriage, their fights, and the things that happened behind closed doors. What she said was so disturbing that it left many wondering what was really going on inside the royal family. These were not just small problems. They were deep, dark truths that changed the way people saw the man who would one day be king. And once these secrets came out, nothing was ever the same again. Charles's alleged infidelity and emotional abuse. There was always someone else in Princess Diana's marriage. No matter how hard she tried, she could never shake the feeling that Camilla Parker Bowles was always there, lurking in the background. From the very start, Diana felt she was fighting a losing battle for Charles's love and attention. Diana once said something that broke millions of hearts around the world. She said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That one sentence said it all. She wasn't just married to Charles, she was sharing him. And no woman should have to go through that kind of pain. Diana wasn't crazy. She wasn't imagining things. She knew Charles was having an affair with Camilla, even when everyone around her tried to tell her otherwise. But instead of Charles sitting down and reassuring his young wife, he made it worse. Whenever Diana brought it up, he would gaslight her. He would say things like, "You're paranoid," or "You're imagining it," making her question her own sanity. Can you imagine the man you love turning your deepest fears into a joke? That's exactly what happened to Diana. The emotional damage Charles caused her was massive. He didn't comfort her. He didn't protect her. He left her to deal with it all alone. Diana struggled with bulimia, an eating disorder that took over her life. She once shared that Charles made fun of her weight, pushing her deeper into the illness. Instead of helping, Charles turned away. He laughed at her, called her unstable, and labeled her as the problem in their marriage. Diana was drowning, and Charles stood by watching. He laughed off her pain, told others she was being dramatic, and treated her feelings like they didn't matter. That cold behavior broke Diana from the inside. It made her feel unloved, unwanted, and like a burden. For the world, they looked like the perfect royal couple. But behind closed doors, Diana was fighting a silent war. She was trying to save a marriage that Charles had given up on long ago. No matter what she did, it was never enough because, in the end, his heart belonged to someone else, Camilla. The Tampon Gate scandal and public humiliation. If Diana had any doubts about Charles's affair, those doubts were crushed when the Tampon Gate scandal hit the headlines in 1993. The private, intimate phone call between Charles and Camilla was leaked, and the world got to hear just how deep their relationship really was. The conversation was shocking, embarrassing, and humiliating, not just for Charles, but for Diana most of all. In the call, Charles joked about wanting to be reincarnated as Camilla's tampon, words so private and bizarre that even today, they make people uncomfortable. But imagine being Diana, hearing the man you're married to, the future King of England, talk like that to another woman. It wasn't just an affair. It was proof that everything Diana had feared was true. Charles loved Camilla, not her. And now, the whole world knew it. She couldn't hide anymore. She had to smile, wave, and pretend like it was all okay while every newspaper splashed that humiliation on the front page. For Diana, this wasn't just betrayal. It was public execution of her dignity. The royal family stayed silent, as always, leaving Diana to face the world alone. The scandal only made Diana stronger, though. It fueled her desire to speak out, to tell her side of the story. She knew if she stayed quiet, she'd be buried by the lies. The world's opinion of Charles took a huge hit. People couldn't believe the man who was supposed to be their future king could speak that way, act that way, and hurt Diana so deeply. But instead of breaking her, It pushed Diana to fight harder for her truth. Diana's dark predictions and fears before her death. The saddest part of Diana's story is that she knew deep down that her life was in danger. She said it more than once. She was scared that they would kill her. But who was they? The royal family? The press? The people who didn't want her speaking out? In private conversations, Diana shared her fears openly. She once said, "They're going to kill me in a car accident." Those words hit harder now, knowing how she died. It's chilling to think about. It was like she knew what was coming but felt powerless to stop it. There's also the Mishkan note, a letter written down by her lawyer after Diana told him about a plot she feared. She believed someone wanted to tamper with her car brakes or stage a crash. She thought she was being watched, followed, and set up. And the sad part is, nobody really listened. Diana wasn't just scared for herself. She was scared for her sons, William and Harry. She knew that the more she spoke out, the more dangerous it became for her. But still, she didn't stop. She refused to be silenced, even if it cost her everything. Her death left behind so many questions. Did she know too much? Was it really just an accident? Or did someone finally decide that Diana had said enough? Post-divorce explosions. After the divorce, Diana finally started speaking her truth, and the world listened. In 1995, she gave a now-famous interview to BBC Panorama with journalist Martin Bashir. That interview changed everything. Diana didn't hold back. She spoke about Charles's betrayal, about how she was left unprotected by the royal family, and about how lonely she felt. She admitted to her struggles with bulimia and depression, but more importantly, she made it clear that she was never the crazy one. She was the one surviving in an impossible situation. One of the most powerful moments was when Diana said she didn't think Charles was fit to be king. She feared that his actions, his cold heart, and his lack of empathy made him wrong for the role, and millions of people agreed with her. The interview caused an earthquake inside the royal family. Charles's reputation took a massive hit. People couldn't look at him the same way again. The once fairy tale prince was now seen as a cheating, cold-hearted man who broke the heart of the world's princess. But for Diana, it was more than revenge. It was freedom. For the first time, she was telling her story, her way. And people finally saw the real Diana. Not the royal puppet, but the strong, brave woman fighting for her life. After the interview, Diana's life began to change. She started focusing on humanitarian work, traveling the world, and helping people. She was becoming her own person, no longer just the princess, but a global icon for compassion and courage. Final days, final words. In the last months of her life, Diana seemed different. She was finally breaking free from the royal chains. She found love again, this time with Dodi Fayed, the son of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed. Their relationship raised many eyebrows, especially inside the royal circle. There were whispers that Diana and Dodi were planning something big. Some said she was thinking about moving to the United States, starting a new life far away from the royal family. There were even rumors that she wanted full custody of William and Harry. She didn't want her boys growing up in the same cold world that had destroyed her. Some reports claim that Diana was planning to reveal more secrets, that she was ready to expose the royal family in a way no one had ever done before. What she knew, what she had seen. It could have shaken the monarchy to its core. But we'll never truly know what Diana was planning because she never got the chance to finish her story. On August 31st, 1997, her life was cut short in a car crash in Paris. And just like that, the world lost its princess. Even today, people wonder, what else did Diana know? What other secrets did she carry with her to the grave? Was her death really just an accident? Or was it something darker, something more planned? Princess Diana's words left the world shocked, and even today, they raise questions about what really happened behind the palace walls. Her truth changed history, but the full story may never be known. What do you think about the secrets she revealed? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eye-opening stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
It is the monarch that is the key to this, and the constitution that underpins the monarchy. We as a family see ourselves there as to support that role.
Something surprising has happened in the royal family. Princess Anne, who is always strong and honest, has found out something new about Queen Camilla. Many people think Camilla is just King Charles's caring wife, but this new discovery might change how everyone sees her. There are hidden secrets, quiet talks, and looks that mean more than they seem. This news might change the royal family forever. Is the royal family about to face another big change? Or has the real story been hiding all along? What Princess Anne recently discovered. Princess Anne has always been known for her honesty. She doesn't sugarcoat things, and she certainly doesn't play into unnecessary drama. But this time, what she has uncovered about Queen Camilla is something no one expected. It all started with a quiet conversation behind palace doors. Anne, who has spent decades watching the royal family from the inside, has always had her own thoughts about Camilla. But recent events have made her see something she hadn't noticed before. Camilla's growing influence over King Charles and, more importantly, over the monarchy itself. For years, people have debated Camilla's true role in the royal family. Some say she's simply standing beside Charles as a supportive wife, while others believe she has far more power than she lets on. Anne has now realized that Camilla is not just a queen by title. She's someone who is actively shaping decisions, policies, and even the future of the monarchy. The real shocker? Anne's sources say that Camilla has been making key decisions behind the scenes. Decisions that might change the royal family forever. This isn't just about small things like royal engagements or public appearances. Camilla is said to be involved in conversations about the monarchy's structure, future roles, and even who holds power within the family. So how did Anne come to this realization? Well, it wasn't from a single moment. It was a pattern she noticed over time. She saw how Charles leaned on Camilla more than ever, how her opinions shaped his actions, and how other royals seemed to adjust their stance around her. It became clear that Camilla wasn't just playing the role of the dutiful wife. She was playing a much bigger game. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some may argue that Camilla is simply stepping up because Charles needs her. Others may feel uneasy about it, wondering if she's pushing her own agenda rather than serving the interests of the monarchy as a whole. Either way, this revelation changes how we see Camilla, and possibly how the world will see the royal family moving forward. How this changes everything for Camilla. Camilla's journey in the royal family has been anything but easy. From the early days of scandal and public scrutiny to finally being accepted as queen, she has fought a long battle to earn her place. But now, with Princess Anne's discovery, everything might take a turn once again. First, let's talk about public perception. Camilla has spent years trying to win the people's trust. Some have accepted her, while others still see her as the woman who came between Charles and Diana. But now, with this revelation, a big question arises. Is Camilla becoming too powerful? Some may admire her for stepping up and taking charge, but others might feel uncomfortable knowing she's pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's one thing to be a supportive queen consort, but it's another thing to be influencing major royal decisions. If people start seeing her as the one truly in control, it could lead to more criticism. The British public has always been protective of their monarchy, and if they feel that Camilla is overstepping her boundaries, it could spark serious backlash. Now, let's look at how this affects the royal family itself. King Charles has always trusted Camilla, but will this new attention on her influence make things difficult for him? If people, both inside and outside the palace, start questioning her power, it might put Charles in a tough position. Will he continue to rely on her completely, or will he be forced to change his approach to keep the monarchy stable? And what about the other royals? Anne, as someone who has always been fiercely loyal to the crown, might have concerns about this shift in power. She has always believed in duty above personal gain, so if she sees Camilla making major decisions, she might feel that it goes against the traditional ways of the monarchy. Royal experts are already weighing in on what this could mean. Some believe that Camilla's growing role is simply a natural progression, considering her decades-long journey with Charles. Others, however, think this could create tension within the family, especially among those who have always believed in a more traditional system. At the end of the day, this discovery makes one thing clear. Camilla is no longer just a background figure. She is playing an active, strategic role in the future of the monarchy, and that could change everything. The reaction, the royal family and public response. King Charles has always made it clear that he stands by Camilla. He fought for her acceptance, ensured she was given the title of queen, and continues to rely on her deeply. But how will he react to this sudden focus on her influence? If there's one thing Charles doesn't like, it's controversy surrounding his wife. He has spent years trying to reshape the narrative about Camilla, and any suggestion that she is controlling him could be damaging. Some believe he will stand by her no matter what, brushing off any concerns and continuing to let her play an active role. Others, however, think that if the pressure becomes too much, he might have to make some changes to reassure the public and the family. Then there's Prince William and Prince Harry. William has always had a careful approach when it comes to Camilla. While he respects her role in his father's life, he has never openly praised her influence. If this new revelation gains traction, William might feel the need to step up and assert more control over how the monarchy is managed. After all, he is next in line, and anything that affects public trust in the institution will eventually affect him. Harry, on the other hand, has been vocal about his dislike of Camilla. In his book, Spare, he made it clear that he sees her as someone who has played a major role in royal drama. If he catches wind of this, he might have more to say, potentially adding fuel to the fire and causing more division within the family. The public reaction is perhaps the most unpredictable part of all. Some people may feel a new sense of admiration for Camilla, seeing her as a strong and capable leader. Others, however, may not like the idea of her having such a strong hold over the monarchy. The British press will certainly have a field day with this, and depending on how the headlines play out, it could shape public opinion in either direction. What this means for the future of the monarchy. This revelation about Camilla's influence isn't just a small detail. It could have lasting effects on how the monarchy is perceived. If she continues to take on such an active role, will people start seeing her as more than just a queen consort? Will she be viewed as an actual force shaping the future of the royal family? One of the biggest questions is how this will affect Anne and Camilla's relationship moving forward. Anne has always been known for her traditional values, and if she feels that Camilla's influence is changing the monarchy too much, she might take a stand. Could this lead to tension between them? Or will they find a way to work together? And what about the monarchy itself? The royal family has been facing challenges from all directions: public scrutiny, internal conflicts, and shifting global perspectives. If people start seeing Camilla as the true power behind the throne, will this make the monarchy stronger? Or could it create more instability? No matter what happens next, one thing is certain. Camilla is no longer in the shadows. She is at the center of it all. And Princess Anne's discovery has only made that clearer. The question now is, how will the world react? And more importantly, how will the royal family handle this new reality? If you found this video interesting and want to stay updated on more royal news, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
We were told categorically there was no parents' race.
Right.
But then they called the last minute parents' race. And
You weren't
maybe
prepared.
the competitive side in both of us were like, we have to take part.
In a shocking turn of events that has sent ripples through the royal establishment, Princess Catherine and her mother Carol Middleton have reportedly broken their legendary silence about the inner workings of the British monarchy. After years of maintaining the perfect royal image and navigating countless family crises with dignified reserve, why have the Middleton women decided that now is the time to speak out? Their revelations have reportedly left King Charles and Queen Camilla stunned, and royal insiders claim the monarchy may never be the same again. The truth, it seems, is far more complex than anyone imagined. The breaking point. For over a decade, Princess Catherine has embodied the ideal royal bride, graceful, discreet, and unfailingly loyal to the institution she married into. Her mother Carol, once dismissed by some courtiers as too middle-class for royal circles, has similarly maintained a respectful distance from the spotlight while supporting her daughter through the challenges of royal life. What could possibly have driven these two notoriously private women to finally speak out? According to sources close to the Middleton family, the catalyst was a series of decisions made by palace officials regarding Catherine's cancer treatment and recovery that allegedly prioritized institutional concerns over her health and well-being. The final straw came when certain senior royals and their staff began pressuring Catherine to resume duties before her doctors advised it was safe, claimed one insider. Carol witnessed her daughter being placed in an impossible position, caught between medical advice and royal expectations. While Catherine has long accepted the demands of royal duty, the reported intervention of her mother marks a significant departure from the Middleton family's usual approach to royal matters. Known for their tight-knit family unit and protective stance toward each other, the Middletons have historically solved problems privately rather than creating public waves. Carol has always been Catherine's rock, but until now, she's worked entirely behind the scenes, explained one longtime family associate. For her to take such a public position suggests the situation had become truly untenable. The shocking revelations. What exactly have the Middleton women revealed? According to multiple sources, their disclosures center around three main areas: the truth about Catherine's health journey, the palace's handling of Prince Harry and Meghan's departure, and most explosively, the behind-the-scenes dynamics between Catherine and Queen Camilla. On the health front, Catherine has reportedly shared that her condition was more serious than publicly acknowledged, and that palace pressure to maintain a specific narrative complicated her treatment options. There was more concern about how her illness would be perceived than about her actual recovery, one source claimed. Catherine was expected to project strength even when she was at her weakest. Regarding Harry and Meghan, the Middletons have allegedly revealed that Catherine made extensive efforts to mediate between the Sussexes and the royal family, efforts that were repeatedly undermined by old guard palace officials. According to these accounts, Catherine's attempts at reconciliation were misrepresented within family circles, contributing to the deepening rift. Catherine tried desperately to bridge the gap between Harry and William, said one insider. But her efforts were sabotaged by those who preferred the brothers remain estranged. The narrative that she didn't try to help is completely false. Most controversially, the Middletons have reportedly shed light on the complex relationship between Catherine and Camilla, a relationship that public appearances have suggested is cordial and respectful. Behind closed doors, sources claim the reality has been far more tense, with Camilla allegedly attempting to sideline Catherine during key royal transitions. Camilla views Catherine as a threat because of her popularity, claimed one palace source. There have been deliberate attempts to minimize her role and influence, particularly since King Charles ascended the throne. The royal reaction, the response from Buckingham Palace to these alleged revelations, has been one of shock, followed by damage control. King Charles, who has reportedly enjoyed a generally positive relationship with his daughter-in-law, is described as deeply hurt by the disclosures, particularly those concerning his wife Camilla. Sources close to the king claim he was blindsided by the Middleton women's decision to speak out, having believed that family matters were being addressed privately. The timing is particularly difficult as Charles continues to balance his own health challenges with royal duties. Queen Camilla's reaction has reportedly been one of cold fury, with claims that she feels unfairly portrayed and misrepresented. According to palace insiders, she has demanded a formal retraction of certain allegations, particularly those suggesting she worked against Catherine's interests. Perhaps most significantly affected is Prince William, who finds himself in the painful position of standing between his wife and her family on one side, and his father and the institution he will someday lead on the other. Sources describe William as torn but ultimately supportive of Catherine's decision to be more forthright about her experiences. William has watched his wife suffer in silence, explained one friend of the couple. While he's dedicated to the monarchy, he's even more dedicated to Catherine's well-being. If speaking out helps her heal, he'll stand by her, regardless of the institutional fallout. The Middleton family united. What makes this situation particularly powerful is the unified front presented by the entire Middleton family. Carol's husband Michael, though typically even more private than his wife, has reportedly backed their decision to support Catherine in speaking her truth. Similarly, Catherine's siblings Pippa and James are said to have offered their complete support. The Middletons have always been Catherine's safety net, noted one royal observer. Unlike Diana, who felt isolated within the royal system, Catherine has always had this tight family unit to fall back on. That's given her a confidence that other royal brides lacked. This family solidarity represents a significant challenge to the traditional royal approach of handling difficulties internally. The Middletons, while respectful of royal tradition, come from a different world, one where family welfare takes precedence over institutional concerns. Carol and Michael raised their children to speak up for themselves and each other, explained one family friend. They may have embraced the royal connection, but they never surrendered their family values. That's what we're seeing now. The Middleton values of honesty and family loyalty taking precedence over royal protocol. The public reaction. The public response to the Middleton revelations has been overwhelmingly supportive, with many praising Catherine's courage in finally addressing matters that have been subject to years of speculation. Her popularity, already substantial, has reportedly surged in the wake of her candor. Social media has been flooded with messages of support, with hashtags like "Stand with Catherine" and "Middleton Strength" trending worldwide. Many commenters have drawn parallels to Diana's experiences, noting that Catherine has managed to find a voice within the system in a way her late mother-in-law never could. Perhaps most significant has been the response from younger generations, who see in Catherine's actions a necessary modernization of royal approaches to transparency and authenticity. The monarchy can't survive on mystique alone anymore, observed one royal commentator. Catherine seems to understand that controlled honesty is more sustainable than perfect silence. This public goodwill presents a considerable challenge for palace officials who might otherwise have attempted to discredit or downplay the Middleton revelations. With Catherine enjoying approval ratings that consistently outpace most other royals, any perceived attempt to undermine her would likely backfire significantly. The long-term implications. Beyond the immediate drama, royal watchers are considering the long-term implications of this unprecedented moment. Many see it as a potential turning point in how the monarchy operates, particularly regarding the treatment of those who marry into the institution. Catherine and Carol have essentially rewritten the rules for royal brides and their families, noted one historian of the monarchy. They've demonstrated that it's possible to respect the institution while still maintaining personal boundaries and family loyalties. This will have ramifications for generations to come. For the monarchy itself, this moment presents both challenges and opportunities. The traditional approach of never complain, never explain has shown its limitations in the modern media landscape. Catherine's more measured transparency might offer a middle path between complete silence and the tell-all approach taken by Harry and Meghan. Most significantly, these events have highlighted the increasing influence of the Middleton family within royal circles, an influence that extends beyond their daughter to shape how the future of the monarchy might look when William eventually becomes king. What we're witnessing is the early stages of Catherine and William's vision for a more human, more relatable monarchy, suggested one royal biographer. The Middleton influence, with its emphasis on family unity, mental well-being, and appropriate transparency, is likely to be a defining feature of the next reign. A new chapter begins. As the dust settles on these extraordinary revelations, one thing appears certain: the relationship between the House of Windsor and the Middleton family has entered a new chapter. The days of Carol and Catherine deferring completely to palace wisdom have ended, replaced by a more assertive stance that prioritizes personal well-being alongside duty. For Catherine herself, sources suggest this moment represents a personal watershed, a transition from royal apprentice to confident future queen who understands both the weight of the crown and its limitations. She's no longer willing to sacrifice herself entirely for the institution, claimed one insider. She's found a way to serve with integrity, while still protecting herself and her family. As for Carol Middleton, long characterized as the ambitious mother who helped her daughter navigate royal waters, these events have revealed a more complex figure, a fiercely protective matriarch who respected royal tradition until it began harming her daughter. Carol was willing to play by the rules when the rules were fair, noted one family associate. But she was never going to stand by while Catherine was mistreated, no matter how grand the palace or how ancient the crown. In this mother-daughter alliance, the monarchy faces perhaps its most significant challenge from within. Not from those who reject its values entirely, but from those who believe it can and should do better by the people who serve it. That, royal observers note, makes the Middleton position far harder to dismiss than previous criticisms of the institution. As one commentator observed, the power of Catherine and Carol's stand lies in their fundamental respect for the monarchy, coupled with their refusal to be diminished by it. They haven't rejected the system. They've simply insisted that the system treat them with appropriate respect. That's much harder for the palace to counter than outright opposition.